Now, West Michigan's couple whose son was killed by dogs while jogging a decade ago are pushing for a new law targeting the owners of dangerous dogs that they say would have prevented his death.
Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker, who covered this case back in 2014, has this story.
The Seitzma family say they hope what happened to their son a decade ago while he was jogging along this gravel road in Lapeer County will lead lawmakers here in Lansing to take action.
It could have been prevented. You, sir, are the age of what our son was when he died. You chose not to properly house the animals. The end result is the death of our son.
In court a year after the death, Richard Seitzma and his wife Jackie addressed the couple who owned the two massive cane Corsos that had mauled their son. Their 46-year-old son, a father of three and a native of Granville, was a cancer survivor who had vowed to stay in shape.
Everybody loved Craig. He was just the kind of man that people were attracted to. He's very good-looking, and he was kind.
He was jogging in July 2014.
Every day he ran that same route.
When the dogs with a history of biting escaped from their pen and attacked.
He didn't hear him coming. They come up from behind him.
And he's wearing his earbuds.
His earbuds, and he was, just jogging along.
He lifted his hands to protect his face, and after that it was over.
They try not to think about what their son went through.
They were in attack mode, and they didn't quit.
Their son begged for his life while a neighbor tried to save him.
You can't forgive the sin, but you can forgive the sinner, and we're kind of at that point now. The sin was horrible, the way it happened, the evil that came out of that pen.
The dog's owners served 4.5 years in prison after pleading guilty to manslaughter. They were then deported, the woman to Albania, the man to Italy. The dogs, Tony and Julia, were put down. The judge then gave Seitzma's father some advice.
The last time I was in his court, he specifically looked at me and said, "Richard, if you want to do something, you go out and change the law."
A short time later, he started working with then State Representative Sean McCann, a Kalamazoo Democrat.
I kind of took it up as my cause to try to put something in place that would prevent this happening to anybody else in the state of Michigan. And that's what I've been working on for the last 8.5, 9 years.
McCann started working on dangerous dog legislation in 2014, but it went nowhere. Then in January, now Senator McCann reintroduced the legislation.
But we do need to do something about those bad owners that are not cognizant of the public, protecting people in the general public.
In Kent County alone, animal control responded to 610 dog bites in 2021, the last year for which complete figures are available. Seitzma's father delivered mail for 40 years.
I've been bit 3 times.
3 times?
And each time I was bit, the owner of the animal said that he won't bite. And as I walked away, I got bit. And I'm one of thousands nationwide that get bit all the time. UPS drivers, FedEx people, postal workers.
In the U.S., dogs bit more than 5,300 postal workers in 2022. Michigan ranked 8th in the nation with 206 postal worker dog bites. The senator says the legislation is about prevention, identifying and tracking dangerous dogs and requiring owners through court orders to take steps, from restraints to muzzles to keep them from attacking. The most dangerous dogs could be put down.
Take action before the problem tips over into an actual attack or an actual tragedy.
The law would not cover guard dogs, hunting dogs, dogs that bite owners or their family members, or those that bite trespassers, tormentors, or lawbreakers.
Our central reference point here, right, is the situation with Mr. Seitzma and his son, and it's just, it's a terrible tragedy. And I think the more he tells his story, I think the more that hopefully will persuade my colleagues to say that this is something that deserves action.
Our son would be alive if this bill had been in place. And I think there's others that would be alive in Michigan that have been killed by dogs if something like this had been in place.
I would like to see all the lawmakers in Lansing get on board, and this is a good law for all the citizens in Michigan. It's something that we really need.
The legislation was sent to a Senate committee, and it's something we'll continue to follow. In Lansing, I'm Target 8 investigator Ken Kolker.